Hi there and welcome to QuoteRUSH. I wanted to take a quick minute to explain how the Lexus Nexis process works for both desktop and web users. You'll need to first contact billing at QuoteRUSH.com if you haven't already done so to get the Lexus Nexis feature enabled. Once Lexus Nexis is enabled, you can begin the setup process, which is pretty easy. First, let's talk about the desktop version. All you'll need to do is go over to QuoteRUSH admin and check out the user manager. Inside of the user manager, as long as you have proper permissions, you should see all of the users on the right-hand side. You can simply click any of the users that you would like to give access to the Lexus Nexis feature, click the edit button, and then check this box right here to enable it. For web users, the process is very similar. You'll go to the 4 squares in the top right corner, and once you're in here, go over to the user manager again. The main difference in this process is that there's a drop-down menu when you select your users, so go up here and pick whichever user you'd like to enable the feature for. Afterward, you'll see the same feature is available to be enabled right here at the bottom. Don't forget to save your work. So, we've enabled the feature and now we're ready to begin pulling VIN numbers and driver's license numbers. First, let's look at the desktop version of this feature. You'd still want to either start with a completed lead or begin your lead by filling out the client tab and moving over to driver and auto. Once you've filled out the policy information and moved over to the driver's tab, you'll find a button at the bottom that says driver and auto lookup. When you click Driver and Auto Lookup, it will display any addresses that are associated with either the property or the mailing addresses on this lead. Select one and click Submit. It will then ask you to confirm, and then you'll see a display of all the drivers and all of the vehicles associated with the address. Use the checkboxes to select which drivers and vehicles you'd like to add, and don't forget to select the primary driver with this dropdown. After making your selection and clicking Import, you'll find all this information loaded into the lead in QuoteRUSH under both the drivers and the vehicle tabs. Now let's discuss the QuoteRUSH web version. The first area where you will notice the Lexis Nexis have an impact in QuoteRUSH web is when you're adding a new lead. When you do so, the first question is the type of business that you're going to quote. So if you select auto, you'll find that when you review your lead, it will already be pre-filled with all of the drivers and all of the vehicles that were available from your Lexus Nexis data pool. Now let's say you'd like to trigger this process on your own from QuoteRUSH Web, or maybe you started your lead in QuoteRUSH Desktop and want to pull the information now from QuoteRUSH Web. That's easy enough to do. Once you've opened a lead, simply click Edit, and upon navigating to the driver section of the Driver and Auto tab, you'll find a button that says Auto and Driver Lookup. The process inside of here is a little bit easier because all it's going to ask is whether you want the mailing or the property address to be used. Afterwards, we'll go ahead and preload the lead with all of the information that comes from the data pool. Regardless of whether you're using web or desktop to look up the VINs and driver's license numbers, always make sure to go back in and review the vehicles and the drivers that have been uploaded, and make sure to add any other missing information. Remember, we want our leads to be as accurate as possible. That's going to wrap up our tutorial on the Lexus Nexis feature. Just remember, if you have any questions or need help, our support team is always waiting to give you a hand. Thank you and happy quoting!